We're in Holyoke, Massachusetts. We're on the street it's called East Dwight Street. At the beginning of it, towards the east, would have been Dwight Street School, which was taken over by Immaculate Conception when they started up their church program and before their school was actually built. Now, East Dwight Street used to be called Dwight Street until it got permanently cut off a long time ago. And so we'll go on East Dwight, and then we'll take a little roundabout and get up back to Dwight Street. We're passing a little park called Pena Park, and then we're passing tenement houses. There was a lot of fires in the 1970s in this area, in these tenement houses, so it became a very dangerous place to live. So East Dwight Street is kind of short and mostly is residential. And it used to be a walk space, and it used to be a long time ago, driving space right in front of us. And that's why it's a little different look right down there. So what we're doing now, sure we're not in Dwight Street, but we're going to go to it. So we're going to leave the camera going. And Dwight Street is a very busy place. The archivist at the Holyoke Public Library gives a tour of Dwight Street, and she has a map and a booklet. So all I do is give this car tour to show you some of the features that I know about. So you're much better at following her features on her maps and her text. Alright, so Dwight Street's picking up again here. It continues on the left at this beautiful red door, and that's the Parsons, that's the former town hall of Holyoke. Now we're crossing the second level canal on both sides of the road here, and there's some mills coming very quickly, including the Massasoit and the Warrigon on your left. The former wire mill on your right, the Skinner Museum, which is the Holyoke Heritage State Park, and inside of that park you'll find many things, including the Visitor Center, the Volleyball Hall of Fame, the Children's Museum, and a merry-go-round. And it used to be the Skinner Silk Milk there, number 2, and it was enormous. But it also used to be the passenger freight station for the Holyoke to Westfield Railroad line. That was taken down, and Silk Mill was put in. Now we're passing why is Dwight Street so popular? Well, the true front door of Holyoke City Hall on the left-hand side is Dwight Street. It's not High Street, even though that's more important nowadays. And so Holyoke City Hall this year, the year 2024, has its 150th anniversary, has a building that was completed in the year 1874, a year after Holyoke changed from a town to a city. And it was dedicated last year, and what a big ceremony. And it's a very gorgeous building made with Munson marble mostly. And the inside second floor has stained glass windows, and those are being rehabbed to make them get stronger support between them and to clean up the colored glass. And the next street is High Street coming up here. Now High Street on both sides is gorgeous. For the 5 northernmost blocks, you see that it is a historic district within Holyoke. The McCausland and Wakeland buildings on the left, and that used to be the Walcott building, the department store. Also beautiful in the building on the left, Steiger's, for instance. But also on the right-hand side, you get the beautiful Caledonia building, and that's from 1874. It was built by Roswell Crafts, when his exchange hall collapsed or went down the fire. Now, Dwight Street is a long street, and what we're going to do, we're going to try to show you as much as possible. Here, you got Veterans Park in front of you, a memorial park to all the people associated with Holyoke that died during the course of wars. And that includes Civil War, it includes World War II, the Veterans, Korean War, and the Vietnam War. The Spanish-American War and the World War I are at another location. It's also the Veterans Park is the home of the St. Jerome's Historic District, because St. Jerome's Church is there, and the beautiful Notre Dame School is to its side, and there's two convents between those two. And so this is one of the most gorgeous places in Holyoke itself. Okay, on the left-hand side, you're going to see the Holyoke Post Office from 1935. On the right-hand side, you don't see anything, but there used to be a Providence Hospital, first rendition in Holyoke, and sadly it was taken down, but it was a very important structure was there. And too bad it is gone. All right, then we see a few tenement houses and beautiful, gorgeous homes around here. We're passing Walnut Street. On the left-hand side is Dwight Street Garden, where I volunteer a lot. And this street, in this portion, was mostly known for its tenement houses and then homes. So each city block that we cross, we see differences. So past Beach to Oak, we get more homes, very simple Victorian homes here, but they're very important because it was one of the first places to get homes if you were a mill worker. For a decade you'd work, and then you could finally afford your own house. This is usually where they came. Now, we're going to do the rest of Dwight Street. So what we're going to do now is pause it. Okay, so we're resuming the Dwight Street tour. It's a one-way street at some point, and so I'm going to tell you that it really, Dwight Street goes even more to the left, but there's not much to see there anymore. It's up that hill, and it's important to know that the old Anniversary Field came right up to where that fire station is, and it also came right up to where the Lynch School is. And the Dwight Street cut those in half. Okay, so we're passing the upper parts of Dwight Streets, and we'll go down and meet the point that which we saw. And if you do this tour, you can do it the way I did, or you can join things together, or you can just look at the last part and then go back to the first part. There's lots of ways of seeing it. And this is Victorian homes on both sides. Lots of car traffic, and so a lot of these homes have closed up their porches to be quieter and less dust and dirt flying around. Okay, you can see a nice, gorgeous Victorian home on the left-hand side. Now, once we pass Pleasant Street, the homes become enormous and gorgeous because they were showing off how good they can make homes. And you might see in the distance the Holy Cross Church. That Holy Cross Church has the older one right in front of it. So as the Mission Church is the one with the columns, and the Holy Cross Church modern one is behind it. All right, so you can see off to your left-hand side some gorgeous big Victorian homes, and they were built by either brick makers or provision dealers, so forth. And they made them to show off their wealth, and sometimes to show off to people that wanted to build homes that they can have one that look like theirs. Now, if you look on the right-hand side, there's a building in all brick right there. And that's the former home of George Ewing, who, and you can call him the father of the Holyoke Canal, because he came up with the idea to make the Holyoke Canal and went back to Lowell and told the Lowell canal owners, build one in Holyoke because of the way the meander was in the flat ground. And he convinced them. And in 1848 they started, and they went That went bankrupt in 1859, but he got a group together called the Holyoke Water Power Company, and he took over. So for 11 years it's based on a group on Lowell, but then after that, he got a Holyoke group to buy it out. And it's lasted since then. And his house used to be in the parking lot of the Holy Cross Church. They had to move it. And so one of the most important houses in Holyoke is on this side street. Okay, then a few tenement houses and residential homes. Okay, and what you see ahead of us is the Dwight Street portion that we were on. And so we're going to stop it very soon, but you can see the look of it is simple Victorian homes like I mentioned beforehand. And they really helped develop Holyoke because mill owners only had the worker homes that they had, but people want to grow out of them into your own homes. So thank you for coming on this street tour.